Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. As you can see from the Emperor, we're here with the Empire, led by Karl Franz himself, going to be facing up against the High Elves, so let's jump to the army composition. So, Karl Franz, of course, now has better weapon strength. He's up to 330 armor piercing and 140 weapon damage. Got a minor weapon strength buff in the Tomb King's patch. He's pretty good in this, guys. He can take both the Reichland Runefang and Galmaraz, both of which I have here. Reichland Runefang is an area of effect leadership and melee attack buff, which is obviously going to be very good against the High Elves. Galmaraz gives himself 40% AP, which is huge, and a plus 16 bonus versus large, which is incredibly useful. He's also got Stand Your Ground for that extra melee defense, as well as more leadership, and Foe Seeker, which gives additional speed and vigor. Very good stuff. Of course, Karl is immune to psychology on his Warhorse. This is the non-barded Warhorse. It's the faster one. 78 speed, still has got 100 armor, 65 melee attack, only 35 defense, but he's definitely a scary character, especially now with that weapon strength buff. He's a little bit more killy. He also has a 90 charge bonus, so definitely considerable. He's got a bodyguard unit of Royal Altdorf Griffites here, looking absolutely menacing. We all do love our murder chickens, don't we? So, yeah, we've also got a whole mess of state troops here, as you can see from the infantry line. State troops are really the way to go right now, I think, in terms of the Empire. We've got spearmen with shields, 4 of them. We've got 3 swordsmen, one of them being the Sigmar's Sons, of course. These guys are just about an auto pick in every matchup. And we've also got a regular unit of spearmen kind of in the sweeper position in the back. State troops honestly have pretty decent combat stats. They're one of the best fodder tier units in my opinion, just because they have 32 attack, 32 defense, only 28 weapon strength isn't the best, same with 30 armor, but you know, they're a solid fodder tier troop. They can definitely handle against a lot of other, you know, kind of low tier troops and hold for quite a while, which will then allow the main units to get the damage done, or the damage dealing units rather. We've got the Zentler's Reichsguard Vanguard deployed up on the hill here. Another beautiful looking unit. I absolutely love the look of these guys, looking very regal and royal up here on the hill. And we've also got my next favorite unit on the Empire roster, the Outriders. So Outriders have been improved a little bit. They can fire on the move now, of course. They also have a wider fire arc. So Dark Shards, the Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, their fire arc looks something more like this, I believe. It's a little bit narrower, whereas Outriders now have a wider fire arc. And since they can also fire while moving, that allows you to kind of do, you know, kind of cute, cool things where if you come at an angle to an enemy, you don't have to run straight at them. But if you come at an angle, your troops will still be able to fire in because of that wider arc of fire. Do heavy armor piercing damage. They have the mobility to reposition, and because their unit models are taller, they don't seem to get obstructed as easily as handgunners, which is one of the main issues with handgunners. So for my opponent, he's got Silver Helms and Dragon Princes, who we've been poking away at with the Outriders here. He's also got, let's count the Lothern Seaguard. 1 Lothern Seaguard, 2, just the 2 there. It looks like another unit of archers, 2 Phoenix Guard, 2 White Lions, and a couple of spearmen as well. Teclis will be the Lord. He's carrying Enfeebling Foe and Net of Ammontok, both very good spells. Would have liked to have seen Regrowth, just because the healing gives you really good value, especially with elite tier units like these Phoenix Guard. He's also got a Noble to help protect. He's got armor piercing anti-large, very scary character. In addition, he's also got a couple of units of, these Silver Helms here and the Dragon Princes, and that's everything. So let's go ahead and kick things into full gear, watch what happens. So my opponent's going to be pushing his cavalry out towards this side. We're going to reposition the Outriders to match, and same thing with Karl and the Royal Altdorf Griffites. We're going to kind of line them up on this side of the formation to mirror my opponent's movements. Going to be bringing the Silver Bullets up to a position on the hill, see if we can get some nice firing. And yeah, just bringing the infantry rush, the state troop infantry rush over the hill. Very beautiful cinematic shot. We're also going to be bringing these Zentler's Reichsguard over for a side charge, since these Lothern Seaguard are not going to be braced. They're going to take the full brunt of this charge here, so they're just about braced, but just barely not braced, and some massive shock damage coming in from the Zentler's Reichsguard there. You can see Teclis immediately, though, going to be popping that Net of Ammontok. Very nice play there, pinning these guys in place, allowing these Lothern Seaguard to pull out their spears and start poking away. We are going to bring in some state troops for support, though. We've got Empire Spearsmen and Swordsmen moving up across the line. Sigmar's Son's also going to be engaging over here on the Spearmen in a very shiny cinematic combat here. We've got the Outriders parked up on the hill, just unleashing torrents of volleys on these White Lions here. They're starting to take a ton of HP damage. Haven't dropped any unit models yet, but very nearly doing so. Carl and his Goon Squad were able to get a hold of those Silver Helms there and just completely wreck them. They've killed a few of the Dragon Princes as well, and we're going to be using the Spearmen along with support to try and collapse in on these Dragon Princes. Charging into the wounded White Lions here, we've got some Swordsmen, and just all across the line, State Troops getting hammered right here by a rear charge at least, but the State Troops are going to be holding pretty well across the line. One of the issues that the High Elves face is they're not great at cutting through fodder tier units, especially solid fodder tier units like Empire State Troops who have decent combat stats. You can see Carl's chasing these Dragon Princes around, showing them why this game is called Warhammer. So, yeah, another net of Ammontok being dropped on the Royal Altdorf Griffites there. Very nicely played, but he's not pulling away the Dragon Princes quite yet. Now it looks like he's going to be doing so, which is exactly what he needs to do. Just repositioning my Outriders just to not have them be in any danger. I saw that template pop up, so I decided to reposition one more time, but it looks like Teclis canceled that out. Kind of an overarching look at the battlefield. Silver Bullets unfortunately don't have any good firing arcs, so I'm going to move them up into this pocket here to try and fire into the side of these Phoenix Guards since they have magic bullets. However, this unit of Dragon Princes that's routed, I'm not going to be able to stay on them with Carl and his Goon Squad here, so they are going to come back from routing and then come back and get on these Silver Bullets here. But so far, just been dropping heals with the Jade Wizard. We did drop a regrowth when those Zintler's Reichsguard got caught in that net of Ammontok earlier to help keep them a little bit healthier. They've currently been hit by an enfeebling foe, which is a very nice play. Zintler's Reichsguard have excellent combat stats for a heavy cavalry unit, so definitely some good play there. My Outriders are just unloading on this tattered unit of White Lions, trying to keep it from coming back to the battlefield. You can see the Silver Helms rallied up on the hill, not being microed, unfortunately, being forgotten about, but, you know, definitely not going to say that doesn't happen to me fairly frequently. Zintler's Reichsguard just pushing through. They were standing on top of these Lothern Sea Guard, you know, just chasing down the routing units, but now we're going to bring them up into a rear position, try and come back in and collapse on these archers here. Unfortunately, the Dragon Princes did get a hold of the Silver Bullets here, so we're going to be trying to path them up and around and through, but we're going to get a little bit of a crazy situation where the Zintler's Reichsguard are going to charge in, just lance through these archers, and I'm going to immediately pull them and try and get into combat on these Dragon Princes as well, whereas we're, again, just switching out the Silver Bullets here. A lot of them have been killed at this point, which is pretty unfortunate, but we're going to try and switch them out here, get into a position to fire into these Phoenix Guard here. Phoenix Guard are engaged on my Zintler's Reichsguard, which is not great for me. The Zintler's Reichsguard will take a lot of damage here, but we have these Outriders parked in a rearward position where they're just able to unload with impunity into the rear of these Phoenix Guard, doing quite a bit of damage, though the physical resistance will help somewhat there. Carl's just standing and supporting in this pocket with his Royal Altdorf Griffites. They're fighting Phoenix Guard, which isn't the best, but, you know, with the healing and everything, I was pretty confident that we'd be able to survive. Fortunately, speaking of the healing, the Jade Wizard has been inundated by the Dragon Princes, and Teclis himself somehow snuck back here and is definitely teaching this Jade Wizard a sorry lesson about who's a real master of magic. But Carl's not too happy about that, so he's going to bring his Griffite squad over and once again show Teclis why this game's called Warhammer and not Mountain Blade or something ridiculous like that. So, just chasing around, yeah, Teclis does not want to get hit by Carl. Carl's a mean character compared to Teclis, especially with that Gaul Miraz popped, which I unfortunately don't have, but we did pop the Reikland Runefang, buffing up the melee attack up to 68 for these Royal Altdorf Griffites. If you stack that Reikland Runefang and stand your ground, especially on a unit like the Royal Altdorf Griffites, you can get some ridiculous combat stats on these guys. A little bit of a misclick there by my opponent netting the infantry. I'm sure he was meaning to net the Royal Altdorf Griffites instead. But in the back line, this noble, unfortunately not able to get to Carl or the high-value targets. Obviously, the murder chickens would put him in a can real quick. But the mass Outriders here, unloading volleys into his face. Going to be a little bit of a Last Samurai situation. Teclis is breaking, and the front line's breaking, so it's going to be army losses for the High Elves. And a victory for the Empire. So, well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that battle. It was a lot of fun. I'm really digging playing the Empire right now. Outriders are just... they're much better than before, even though they don't do a whole lot more damage. The wider fire arc, the firewall moving, they had some minor buffs to their combat stats as well. They just feel a lot better, you know, anecdotally. The Zintler's Reichsguard are, of course, MVPs. Reichsguard did get a bit more AP. Of course, Zintler's Reichsguard are included in that, so does make them quite a bit better in cav-on-cav engagements or engagements on heavy infantry, which of course the High Elves tend to bring quite a bit of. Empire State troops doing very well across the front line. I mean, they didn't kill a whole lot, but really they're just here to hold the line while the main, kind of Outriders and Knights and everything get the work done. Karl himself was able to get some nice work done, kind of leading that Altdorf squad. He didn't really have to face any elite like a Star Dragon or even like Tyrion or something like that. Wasn't really challenged in a duelist sense, so he was free to just run around and knock people over with his hammer, which he definitely did. Jade Wizard got some good healing in. For my opponent, let's see, Teclis got some really nice nets there, but it's rough with the nerf to nets. I often find myself not bringing it that much anymore just because it doesn't seem nearly as useful. It is still useful, don't get me wrong, especially for netting a high value target, but just wasn't able to capitalize on the nets that he did cast super well. He ended up, the first one, well, I guess all of them that he used were really in a reactionary sense, and that's one of my issues with Nets of Amantok, is it tends to be more of a reactionary type spell, where it's like, oh crap, I'm getting compromised, net these guys and let's shoot them, or inundate them with spears, which I mean definitely can work, but I prefer to be a little bit more proactive, and since it doesn't have that area of effect anymore, it's not quite as good, but... the Noble got 58 kills. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get to Karl. I think he's maybe the one character who could have put up a challenge, but I'd be interested to see, one-on-one how that stacks up. Phoenix Guard did very well for themselves. Of course, they're going to be great in this matchup against Knights and everything, but just at the end of the day, losing the leadership and everything was really rough, and they were facing continuous cycle charges and rear charges from the Zindler's Reichsguard and the Royal Altdorf fights, and just perpetually being shot in the back by these Outriders as well. So really rough situation. I do like the Dragon Princes. They were able to get some really nice work done, even though I did a lot of damage to them early on. You can see they're still a very dangerous unit tattered like that, and just because they're great leadership, they can come back and with only a few unit models get some really nice work done. So well played there. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.